why Conor McGregor might not be the face of the UFC anymore. But first, fight fans, make sure to clock in. Let's get ready to talk about some MMA. Alex Pereira has been speedrunning a UFC Hall of Fame career in just 3 years. He's already beaten 5 former or current champions in the UFC, which is mind-blowing. A lot of these current fighters who's been in the UFC for many years have not done this, man. And he might be already the face of the UFC over Israel Adesanya, over people like Volkanovski, over people like Conor McGregor. When he was first signed to UFC, the UFC signed him because he'd bring a challenge to Israel Adesanya in the middleweight division. At the time, he was a middleweight king with a long reigning championship. He had not been beaten in so long. He beat people like Marvin Vettori, Robert Whittaker, and what made it so hard is he beat them twice already. He was lapping the division and he was getting ready for a third lap around the middleweight division. But when Adesanya was the champ of the middleweight division, he lost his title to Alex Pereira. While he was winning the entire fight, he did get stopped in the 5th and final round when it was go mode, man. When it was time to win, when you had that Kobe mentality to see if he had to pull it out the fire, Alex Pereira did, TKOing him. It might have been ruled a KO, I don't remember, in the 5th and the final round. And yes, boys, that was the start of his UFC run when he really started going crazy. And I know what you guys are gonna say. He got KO'd in the next fight against Israel Adesanya, and I know. But remember, he had to go so down, man. He was a natural born 205er going down to 185. He was drained. He was starting his cut, I think, 5 weeks before the fight, maybe even 6 weeks before the fight. After his KO loss to Israel, he finally moved up to light heavyweight, and his first light heavyweight matchup was dangerous, man. A Polish wrestler with also Polish powers in his hands. And like people used to say, man, they didn't think he was gonna win this fight. I think he was the minus favorite. He was not favored. He was the underdog in that fight. But again, Warriors Poatan came up and came clutch. Warriors come out at primetime moments. And when I say this, he beat Jan Blachowicz. He destroyed him, man. I know it's a lot of people saying he was a close fight. It was a close fight. It could have gone either way. But I did see Alex Pereira winning just because of the more damage. And this fight was in Utah. So remember, when they both looked pretty bad because they both were really gassed when the high elevation altitude. Even Shaq said when he was playing basketball in Utah, he purposely fouled just to stop the game and catch his breath a little bit. Imagine doing that while fighting. After beating Jan, my boy Uncle Dana gave him the light heavyweight title shot against one of the scariest fighters in the UFC at the time who have not been beaten. And let me tell you this, guys, Jiri Prochazka was so fucking scary. No one wanted to fight. Jamal didn't want to fight him, and Jamal just tore, I think he tore, no, his Achilles. He popped his Achilles. And remember, so the fight was set, Jiri versus Prochazka, and this was a fight of two fucking titans, and it felt like two warriors going at it. But at the end of the day, only one man can win, only one warrior can win, and it was Alex Poatan Pereira with the bow and arrow strike. And let me tell you this, man, it was a star-studded fight. Yes, the stoppage was a little bit bad. It was a little bit bad, but I think it was gonna go worse, man. Yeah, I know, let him go on his shield, but he was not getting up from that. But remember, guys, this fight shot Alex Pereira into superstardom, with his name starting to be a household name amongst UFC fans. Even though, you know, even casual fans, a lot of people still know who he is, but the casual fans are really getting a grasp for him. That's why he was main eventing UFC 302 over Conor McGregor. Remember, guys, with UFC 300 now upon us, Conor McGregor was ready to make his return against Michael Chandler, but people started to have their doubts because no fight, no main event was being announced. This card was a little over a month away and no fights were announced, and people started to think if it was going to happen, if it might have been something else. You know, they were promising a banger. But then when people start to give up hope that it was going to happen, my boy Poatan Pereira again comes in and steps on short notice against Jamal Hill. You know, a lot of people say it was short notice, but it really was. Do you know why? Because I'm pretty sure they didn't have that in their head. They thought it was going to be Conor. Maybe up until they announced the fight was a little bit over a month away. And let me say, everybody was waiting for Alex Pereira to catch an absolute fucking body, because people thought Jamal Hill was an absolute fraud in the lightweight division. He was higher ranked than he really should have been. And he would later do that with destroying Hill in the first round. Caught him in the first round, ended quick as the fight started. Got kicked in the crotch and hold up, boom, dropped him. Fucking, I think he was out cold on the way down, maybe woke him back up. But you know, that fight, I think it lasted like a minute. It was a really fast fight, and that absolutely showed in the light heavyweight division. Alex Pereira was just on a different level. But after the press conference of UFC 300, Dana said Conor will be getting ready to fight Michael Chandler, and the fight was announced for UFC 305 just 5 cards later, remember. And remember, guys, all the hype was crazy that Conor McGregor, King McGregor, was finally making his star-studded return. And people, you know, had some speculation. The first press conference was canceled, the Dublin one, and then people thought Conor was injured. Just because everybody was being cryptic, everybody was being secretive. Michael Chandler was posting some freaking weird-ass tweets, man, saying that, God, he's interested in God. I love God, don't get that wrong, but you know, if there's drama going on, you can't post stuff like that because people aren't think that something's going wrong, and something will go wrong because Conor McGregor broke his pinky toe for some reason and decided to pull up the fight when he was making a RDA, when he was making fun of RDA because he broke his foot and saying that he would never pull out. But I understand. Hey, shout out to the Weight Concept, because the Weight Concept said this, man. He said Conor McGregor learned a lesson from snapping his shin bone. And I do think he did. You know, that's a scary, traumatic experience, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want something like that happening again, even if it was something on your leg that was already compromised. But again, while Conor McGregor pulled out, it was later discovered that Alex Pereira would be rematching Yuri Prochazka on 2 weeks' notice for the light heavyweight belt. And what can I say? Two absolute warriors putting it on the line. 2 weeks. No one needs a full camp. Let's just run hands and let's see who's the better man that night. Pereira has to be one of the best company men to ever be in the UFC, and is now taking over the face of the UFC. Conor McGregor, if he loses his fight against Michael Chandler, he's out. So who do we have? We have Alex Pereira. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Am I wrong? Are my MMA takes crazy? Make sure to click on my video on my breakdown versus Dustin Poirier and Islam Makhachev. Go ahead and watch that, guys, and let me know what you guys think. But yet again, make sure to uppercut that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.